afternoon, everybody, and welcome once again to the International Film Festival of India here in Goa. We are on the penultimate day of the festival, and it is sincerely hoped that everyone had a lovely and productive time. In this session today, I have three important film personalities. I have here with me Laura Delli Colli. She is the Vice President of the Rome Film Festival. Then I have with me Francesca. She is the General Manager and Organizational Director of the Rome Film Festival. And then I have with me our very own Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra. As you know, he's a well-known Indian film director, writer, and producer. He was also one of the members of the international competitive section at this year's IFFI. This particular press interaction is focused on IFFI's engagement with other film festivals. And I would like to very specifically say that Sri Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra, he had his film which is called as My Dear Prime Minister or Mera Pyara Prime Minister. It had its Euro premiere at the Rome Film Festival. Now, before I open this to the press, I would like to talk to Laura Delli Colli. As I said, she is the Vice President of the Rome Film Festival. The Rome Film Festival 2018 had just been finished in October. And it had a challenging program of screenings, master classes, panel discussions, retrospectives, etc. This segment is about IFFI's engagement with other film festivals. I would like to ask Laura Delli Colli, Laura Delli Colli, what is your experience about the Rome Film Festival? What are the possibilities for engagement with IFFI here?
First of all, good morning, everybody, and many thanks to this precious occasion. I'm really proud to be here and very glad to come back in India. For me, it's the fourth time I come in India. Yeah. Second time in Goa, but many years ago, and today is a good impression to be in a so important festival. I think there is a good possibility to make something together. And we met in Rome a delegation, an Indian delegation, and we are very glad to have here with us and to meet again our director, your director. I say our, as in Rome. He had a very good audience, and his film was very much appreciated by critics and Italian media. Rome was open this year to Indian movies, but in a lot of screenings without a competition, but to show to all the Italian people in movies, critics, journalists, and many people of the of Italian cinema, the best in all the world. Our director, our artistic director, is Antonio Monda. He's a critic and a professor. He lives usually in New York, but he comes in Rome every year and all over the world choosing movies. So we are representing him here, and we hope for next year we can have something more from India. But we wait for his decision, his new screening or over the world. I think Indian movies are something special in the world. In the world, there is Hollywood, there is Rome, Cinecittà, and there is Bollywood or Indian industry. I came twice to Mumbai as a journalist. I was a journalist before all my new business with the festival. And in Italy, I'm the president of all the media press. So for me, it's important to have a good impression about the quality and the importance of Indian artistic industry, but about technical industry, and something I had the occasion to visit and to bring in Italy as an impression and to write about it many years ago. So I think all over the world, the impression of and the value of Indian industry is something to discover, as not so many many movies are coming in Italy in our cinemas. So if it's possible, we can study together, form of collaboration to have something more, to know something more, for our audience and for all Italian critics and people writing about movies.
Yeah, you know,
and we thank you for this occasion.
You are, as you have already said, you are the president of the National Union of Italian Film Journalists.
Yes.
How do you think the media? You see, when there is engagement with two film festivals, it is not just the film fraternity, the technical fraternity, but also the media, who has to help this engagement come to a fruitful conclusion.
It's not so easy, as I say, that all the media are not of journalists, but of editors and of the industry of media. But I think we have so much curiosity for to know all the new way to do cinema for us, as for you is new, perhaps Italian cinema. Yeah. And I thank you, as I found in your screenings many Italian movies in this moment so important for us. You have two films by female directors, for us very important, Laura Bispuri and Valeria Golino. That's an actress, but she's with this new movie at her second direction. And all over the world in this moment, these two films are very, very appreciated and very much loved. Now I'm coming from Los Angeles, where I, by myself, as the artistic curator of an Italian screenings, with the Italian film chosen in Italy for the Oscar. Okay. That's Dogman. You perhaps have today or yesterday here?
I think yes, yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. So for us it's important to show you something that's really the best of this season of Italian movies.
Francesca Via, can I come to you that, you have a long career dedicated to films, organization of film festivals, cultural management. You are the general manager of the Rome Film Festival. Like, what do you think? What is your opinion on this?
So, good morning, everybody. And just one thing before answer the question. My dear Prime Minister was, as my Vice President told you, in Rome, the public likes so much the film. We have audience award, just one. We haven't the jury. like this festival, but we have the audience award, and the Prime Minister is really appreciated. Was arrived fourth in the classification of film. So we are really happy. It's really good. So what can I do? What can I say about the festival? First of all, I like so much this festival because I don't know. It's 13 years that I'm general manager of Rome. Here there are many young people. This is really important. That from morning to evening, they are. This is really a good sensation. I don't know. A good. Sorry for my English is not so good.
Sorry for our English.
But I want. It's really good to stay here. I don't know. I feel well here. In Rome, we change directors, so we change the model. We have jury, we haven't jury, we have awards choice. Our festival is a festival supported by public institution and also by private. Private, you know, in Italy, every year is really difficult. We have a big crisis, but the festival is grow up each year. So we think that this is really important. For us, it's really important also young people. We have a young section. We have many also film for student, university, and our audience is really large. Not like India, maybe because we are less, but this year we grow up. Each year we grow up a little bit, 2, 3, 4% of public, of ticketing, of media, international media. In these 3 years, with an Italian director, but he lives, how said Laura, in New York, so he's really concentrated also to international press. And so it grew up this year 17% more of international press. This is for us really important. Also to open, of course, on the American film, because Antonio Monda lives in New York, so it's normal. But many think also with Indian film. We had this year The Elephant Still Sitting that has won now an award in Shanghai. So also Asia for us is really important, of course. And for us it's important to make a liaison,
an engagement
with your festival, with India. With India, this is really important to open mind on all over the world.
Yeah.
So very good, Francesca. Now,
if I you want to say something?
No, I want to tell you, as for us it's important to be here as a part important of our board. As Francesca is since the first edition of the festival. That's for us is Festa. Is something with a special feeling with all the city of Rome, and during the year we have other occasion to do something for our movies or many others occasion to speak about cinema. As our role is to make all is possible to make for cinema in Rome and around Rome. But the meaning, the important meaning of the festa is to do something local for Rome, but international in the world. So 13 years are not so your 49 and since half, but in many years we have a good feeling with our audience and with international audience as the ground up of interest in international media is for us so important. our role, Francesca is a general manager. My role is vice president, but I'm represented. I'm also the president, as I am the delegate for president. So we can represent at maximum level our board, and this is important for us to can say that. And perhaps it's good for you to have the new calendar for the next year. That's 17-27 October. So just the same days. We are waiting to decide something to do.
Sorry, can just one thing, then Laura will speak better than me. For us, these days, we will remember like good days in India, in this festival, but also sad days for the loss of Bernardo Bertolucci. So, yes. Because we work with him, Laura surely more than me, but for us it's really, really, really sad day.
Let me tell you that yesterday I was called from Italy for this terrible news, and in the first hours for us, we were just at this hour yesterday. Many Italian media calls me to tell something, and I told in Italy that something was important to me at our arrival here was to find the name of Bertolucci here among the most important persons you have here. I told in to Italian television yesterday, to radio that were calling me, as it's important to be in another side of the world and to touch how much is important for our masters to be celebrated and to be present in the memory, but not only in. I think in the way to love movies of other cinematographies. And let me tell you, I was very glad to my personal relationship with Bertolucci. I was very lucky to have a personal relationship with him and to know very well him as a good friend of Italian cinema. And I was born in a family of cinema. My father and my uncle were cinematographers. So they together shot Accattone by Pasolini, and I had a photo. I have a photo in my house that yesterday found on many socials, and in that photo you can see Pasolini laughing, very glad to be on the set of Accattone, and at the camera I have my father. And near, that's Bertolucci, a young Bertolucci, a boy. And when my father died some years ago, Bertolucci wrote me a letter, very important for me and for my family, writing all the personal sympathy he had, remembering that set where he was only a boy. And he was learning something for the first time. And in Italy, many directors looking at the set of Bertolucci were, as I can say, glad to discover a passion to do their own cinema. So we have only to say thank you to Bertolucci and to love more and more his movies all over the world.
We deeply regret the demise of this illustrious film director. And now can I move to Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra, sir. Sir, as we already said, your film, My Dear Prime Minister, was Europe premiered at the Rome International Film Festival. With your long experience in Indian cinema, your association with international film festivals, what do you think are the possibilities for cooperation between the film industries of Italy and India?
And how did you stay in Rome?
I'll just take a minute for Bertolucci. And so today, when I got the news, so in the morning, I told my wife that we'll go down, and we offered a small prayer next to the beach. And when because he's a master, like Fellini, from whom I've learnt, and so I'm making films because they made films. And because their expression, and they were always saying something with their cinema. So I have not gone to a film school. I didn't have a teacher. I've never gone to a set. I never assisted anybody. But these films, when I saw, earlier I was doing advertising, and I didn't even know there was world cinema. So when I discovered, I was editing a lot in London, and I discovered some world cinema. I discovered Bertolucci, I discovered Fellini, I discovered Kurosawa and Kieslowski, and they became, by default, my masters. And they taught me from wherever they were, through their films. So I don't think so that it's RIP, he lives on. The masters can never die. Their work is there, and they're always there. Even after we are not there, they are there. So they can never go away. So they're always there. And that's one. So what about my experience in at the Roma Fest? I don't know where to start and how to, because words are, I'm not a man of words. Maybe I can make a small documentary of my experience in pictures. I felt very good, and I felt very, very jealous. Both was happening to me every day, 24 hours a day. I was feeling very good because it was like home. I didn't feel like a stranger. We have a lot more population in India, but there were bigger crowds at the festival. The lines were much bigger. Even with a delegate pass, I had to wait for 1 hour to get into the theater. When we had a screening of Mere Pyare Prime Minister, so normally you have a 9 o'clock screening in the morning for the press and some people. So I thought I'll go and see the reaction in the morning. So I sneaked in, but there was no place to sit at 9 in the morning. And then the festival was very kind. I got, after the premiere, we got 2-3 more screenings, which was fantastic. So when the reason I used to be jealous is, why can't we emulate something like that back in Goa? So well organized. Not that we are not well organized. So I'm not pointing a finger. The passion for cinema, the interface, I realize, came from journalism as such. So I think in Europe, especially in Italy, journalism has played a very, very important role in constructing cinema and always pointing it to the right direction. They have been constructively critical about films, very, very. It's not about to find faults. You know, when you're a critique, you're a critique. You don't tell the story of the film. But it's how a mother would criticize her children every day because she loves them. They love their cinema. And so whatever I have learned cinema through reading and watching films. I've read great articles from journalists of reviews of the film, irrespective of who was the star, how much the business the film did. Because the thing I learned from the masters was that when you make a movie, you make it for perpetuity and not for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when the business comes in. That's also important, but that's not everything. That's a part of it. It should go on for hundreds of years and it should be a statement of that time as such. So, Mere Pyare Prime Minister is raising some very important questions in a very innocent way, and as such, simple and important questions which we all know, but we seem to forget them because we take them for granted as such. And we say, oh, we know about this, yeah. But I always feel that social and political cinema can come back again and again as a reminder, as also a reflection of, like a mirror of what's happening in the society as such. I'm absolutely, how to say, I'm filled with joy that my film had the privilege of being at Roma Fest. It's different, Delhi 6 went to Venice. Bollywood, The Greatest Love Story opened Cannes, was the second film on 100 years of Indian cinema. Bhag Milka Bhag went all over. Mirzia, which didn't do well here, opened Chicago and stuff like that in the musical category. But Rang De Basanti got BAFTA and all that, and Oscars. It really, we were in the race till the last 9, and we missed out. But it was my first visit to Rome. I'll come back. I have always wanted to go to the city for the longest time. And every time I had been around, and there were hundreds of chances for me to go there. And I promised myself I'll not go without my film, because this country belongs to felony. And I can only go there and show my respect when I go with a humble presentation. It's not that I made a great film. We all try to. But it was my way of paying back the great masters in my very little way. Obviously, I'll never be able to match up to their brilliance and genius and creativity. But you never know. What you learn from your teachers, you have to pay them back.
Yes.
So for me, when I got the letter from the director, I was very happy. And so I remember we had to travel on, I had to reach on the 21st, I think, of last month or something like that. And I started packing my bag from the 10th. So my family was going mad, what's going on? Because you can't start packing a bag 11 days in advance. So I used to open it every day and put something, then say, I need this, no, I don't need this. So my wife was going crazy. My dogs were going crazy. They were playing in the bag. They thought it's a new game. My son just looked at me and he said, this guy has, I thought he was going old. He's actually gone old. I was so looking forward to go to Rome, to the festival.
Can
and
we?
Yeah.
Sorry, please. Yeah, yeah.
And it really meant a lot to it really meant a lot to me. And I have never felt like this in other festivals. I don't know why. There's no reason. But it felt like, I think it's the people. It's the people. And beside the way it's managed and everything, is how the people embrace you. And that energy you will understand. You cannot create it in an artificial way. Either it will happen or it will not happen. As simple as that. And it happened to me. So I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stop it, please. We're too much for us. No, but we're very honored and glad to for your enthusiasm.
Now, can we open this interaction about IFFI's efforts at trying to engage with other film festivals to the media? Any questions, please?
Yeah.
Sir, in India, we haven't made much political films, be it Bollywood or even regional films.
Yeah.
And you are now coming with a new film, which I hope is a political film. And you had also made films like Rang De Basanti, which was a socio-political film. So what is your take on political films? Is it very difficult to make a political films?
I'll very humbly, I'm not from Bollywood. I don't know where it is. And that's why I made a documentary, Bollywood, The Greatest Love Story. And the opening shot, I took it myself with the camera, small camera. I came out of Victoria Terminus in Bombay and went to that taxi and I said, take me to Bollywood. And he looked at me, what's wrong with him? Then I went to the second, it's one single shot. Went to the second taxi and I said, Bollywood, how much money? And he said, get lost. Then I went to the third one, the fourth one. Nobody knew where Bollywood was. I don't know how you guys know it. If the taxi driver in Bombay doesn't know. So that was light humor, I thought. We have been making socio-political cinema for the longest time. In fact, the cinema that has got recognized all over the world, the great cinema of the 50s and early 60s. If you see Sujata, Do Biga Zameen, Mother India got an Oscar nomination, Do Aankhein Bara Haath won the Golden Bear. These are the Indian masters. And Satya Kam had a, can't separate myself from when I make a film about India. When we made Rang De Basanti, it was about an anti-corruption film. It was about relating to the youngsters. And in fact, the most grateful interface was the journalism in this country, because it termed the film that becomes a movement. And it turned the film into a movement. People started emulating, and lakhs of students came out on the roads, and there was a mini revolution, and even a law in the parliament was changed. I remember Jessica Lal, all that. So that was thanks to, so it's not difficult as a film to make. Yes, I had problems. I had to show it to the Chief of Army, Navy, Air Force, because censor didn't give me censor. And then the defense minister and later the president of the country, Pranab Mukherjee, had to see the film. And they found nothing wrong. We shot the defense minister in the film for his corrupt acts. And we made the film at the time when then that ruling government was there. So I don't, it's not easy or difficult. It is whether you want to do it or not. It's like journalism. You're writing an article, whether you want to write it or not. It's as simple as that. So if you say it's difficult, that means I am hiding behind something. Then I made Delhi 6, which was there in Venice, and it got 2 national awards also. And the beauty is that a film which the government was banning gave me 4 national awards, the President medals for Rang De Basanti. And I'm known for that. And it was going to get banned. Delhi 6 was made soon after the demolition of Babri Masjid. And that was my black humor about the film. So there is a mosque there where there used to be a temple. So the whole film is a comedy, a black comedy around that. And we keep blaming a monkey. And then finally realize the monkey is inside us, the black monkey. And if you want to find God or you want to find Allah, you see the mirror. And that was, and so the film didn't do well because it's very difficult to tell people that your religion is nothing. There's only one God in the entire world. So you see Jesus, Allah, Bhagwan, Buddha, see the mirror. You don't need to go to a church or a temple. So people got angry with me. But later on, the government gave me 2 national awards for that, calling it the best film on integration. No, this is wonderful. It's not a joke. You see the beauty of it. That this is what is difficult. I'm trying to answer your question. It's not difficult for me to make the film. It's difficult for the other side to recognize the film as such. Even though, so I'm grateful. And you get rare occasions to be grateful to the government. But I'm really grateful that it happened. And then again, Bhag Milka Bhag was about while partition of India. A lot of people mistook it as a biopic on a sportsman. But films work in layers, you know. And you're always surprised because you make it for some reason, it gets known for something else. When millions of people were celebrating independence of India, and we celebrate every 15th August, and we take the flag and, you know, all that, millions were suffering the partition of India, and Pakistan was being made. You know, women and children had the biggest problem because whenever there's ethnic violence, women suffer. And you know, whenever there's war, women suffer. And children suffer. So it was about women and children, the whole film. And one of that child became the world champion in athletics and in Rome Olympics. Was the film opened in Rome, 1960 Olympics. So I have a definite connection with Rome. I think I should now get a house there so that next time there's no rent to be paid and all that.
Question for Francesca and Laura. As Mr. Mehra said, there are so many crowds that come for the festival. What kind of publicity and planning do you all have before the start of the festival to, you know, to encourage the Romans to come and attend the festival?
So we start on June with the press conference with the first news about the first guest, the master class. Then we start at the middle of September with the publicity on the dynamic static. So is in all in the bus of the town and also all the affiches.
When is the festival? Which month? October.
Yeah.
So they are starting in June with full, both guns blazing, with banners all over the city and with press conference and announcing the masterclass.
Yeah.
So it's like big planning.
Yeah. So in June, then in middle of September, then the first week of October, we made the big press conference where we announce all the program, and after 3-4 days start to sell the tickets, and that's all. Normally, and from June to until September, we have 3-4 announce of I don't know, the opening night or something that help us for the communication, for the sponsor, for everything to stay up with the news.
But there is also a week before. That's a week with many screenings and something particular waiting the festival. So is a week important to show something waiting the festa, not in the official program, but waiting for.
A thought that struck me, maybe like a suggestion. You know, when people wait there for 1 hour. Would it be possible? Do you consider showing them short non-feature documentary films, which otherwise would not get viewership, but since they're standing there and nothing else to do, I don't know if we could have it here as well. I don't know what would be your thoughts.
No, what I meant was, I remember in my childhood, I had to stand for 1 hour in a queue for a movie. It was beautiful to wait to get in. It's like, it's crazy to the standing in the line with a ticket. It's not that they didn't have tickets, with the accreditation thing, to get into your favorite film. And the theater has 1,200 seats, 700 seats. It's not that it's got 300 seats. And it just shows the passion for cinema that is pouring out to watch that film, which is not even in your language. You'll be watching it in subtitles. And God knows that subtitles have been done correctly or not, or at times they can misinterpret. But there's a robust system of subtitling, I remember. And so what I meant was, it's beautiful to say. Yes, there are documentaries and other stuff is going on all the time. It's so beautiful to stand for that. Out here, I think Central's Mr. Prasad, they have put their heart and soul into the IFFI festival. Heart and soul means heart and soul. It's like, I know, I've been following them for the last month and a half. And they haven't slept and made best of the resources they have. So in Kala Academy, I've seen lines, because we used to go for jury screening there every day morning, 9 o'clock, and leave at 9 in the night. I have seen lines going till the gate, which filled my heart with pride. I'm so happy, and which is good. It's a 500-600 seater, 900 seater to have a line going around is what a filmmaker dreams of. So it's a dream.
Except for 4 shows, all the shows so far.
That is fantastic, because we have for the longest time given a wrong perception about commercial Indian cinema. There is so many stories to be told, and I could be politically wrong, but I think a lot of us have followed the star track, the stars rather than the film and the story and this thing. And not just the journalists, the filmmakers are to be blamed for that also. And so my contract says the moment you ask me who is in your film, I'm not doing the film. First hear my story and say we want to do or not, and then we'll tell you about who is in the film. So yeah.
You wanted to ask something? Does that, yeah.
Feature film festivals, ours is the only festival where a documentary is screened before a feature film. It's a special package that we do at the Paramount.
Okay.
So just for the promotion of the film, our rules, we ask to the production director 4 screening of each film. One is dedicated to the press, this one that he told at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then 3 other for the audience. So for us, it's really important to show the film before that it go out on the cinema. And we have documentary inside the competition, not before, not after.
The selection.
Inside
the competition.
Concorsi, insomma, in selection we have also documentary.
Another question.
Can I add something about the particular way to have a relationship with documentary in Italian cinema? You know there is a long and important tradition in documentary, but we now, since some years, are moving through documentaries, calling them cinema del reale, just like cinema of reality. Is important to tell the storytelling of reality in a special way. That's for us different from the documentary of traditional news you can see on television set. Or, so there is a particular way to use reality and fiction sometimes. In some movies that we name docu-fiction, just a contamination into kind of a storytelling. And it's very important for Rome to have many documentaries in the selection, as Francesca told you.
I have a question for you, Laura. You know, I heard you
Tell
talking
me.
so fondly about Italian cinema, Bartolucci, Pasolini, and, you know, those fond memories that you had of your, you know, family members. So as someone who has grown up in such a rich family with such a rich legacy of cinema, what kind of pressures, what kind of expectations do you deal with on a day-to-day basis?
You say between the story of our masters and the cinema of today, but we love very much our masters, our big masters, and today we have not so many masters as them. We have Oscars winner, Già Sorrentino. We have Matteo Garrone, that's another very loved, very much loved among our young talents. Not masters, as they have an age not so good to be called masters. But we have, I think, a new generation growing up. It was impossible to have Paolo Sorrentino if we had not Bertolucci or Fellini in the special case. And we have some women. I remember Lina Wermüller among the female masters. As you know, that's the first woman Oscar not winner but nominated. So I think it's important to have the conscience, a strong relationship with your roots. As he was telling better than me, I tell it, and in the way for us so important. As in 2 years we are going to celebrate Federico Fellini. In 2020 is an important is first century, 100 years. So all Italy is coming on to organize something special, a museum in his Rimini, and in Rome too, something in accord with Cinecittà. And Cinecittà is growing up all over the world with a special celebration of Fellini. But I think we have to watch something, to think to the new directors, talents, not masters, hoping that they are going up as real masters. Nanni Moretti, with his own people loving very much him, and many others. It's not so easy to become a master. Like a generation, we continue to love and to study. Let me tell you also something about the relationship between critics and journalists. Now is a season in Italy that newspapers loved not so much critics. There is no a big come si dice spazio? Space for critics, more from a kind of storytelling and journalism about cinema that's that try to promote and to critique in the same time. This is very important for movies. Then we have our Bollywood. So the Italian comedy of these days is really something commercial. So our industry can live. But we have new authors and independent cinema that is growing up in that way.
Any other questions?
No.
Yes?
Yes, one.
Well, this is not really a question, but a compliment which for Mr. Rakeysh Mehra. In fact, it's your kind of cinema. It's really your kind of cinema which really breaks all barriers of caste, creed, religion, regionalism, to evolve as a homogeneous unit of creative, imaginative, responsible people like you, for whom the language of cinema is the language of humanity. And I think all the fraternity shares this view with you.
And with that,
thank you. That's after hearing these words, I have to go out dancing or something. I love that, and we need to. I think you've gone overboard. It's not that much. It's just a small link in the chain of the movies I've seen of V. Shantaram and maybe Bimal Roy and the masters we were talking about, because it's nothing more than that. Yeah.
And to close by our point of view, let me tell that I think Rome is so strong in her identity. As get a look to the program of last edition. We had Scorsese as a big master, and Isabelle Huppert, and many other important international talents. But it's not different the way we offer to the public the master's class of Scorsese, and who loves, as you know, very much Italian masters, and the surprise. So he was our surprise this year, and we were very, very glad to offer to our public something new to discover.
Okay, to close this session, I would like to thank Laura Delli Colli. She is, as I said, the president of the Rome International, the Rome, is that an international festival?
Yes, international.
It's the Rome Film Festival. She's also, as I said, the president of the National Union of Film Festivals of Italy. I would also like to thank Francesca Via. She's the general manager of the Rome Film Festival, and our very own Mr. Mehra. As I said, he is one of our most eminent film personalities. Thank you so much.
Oh, we are only also some men in our board. Huh?